Hello everyone, welcome to the Roblania Network. Today I'm sitting with KiriCALI, one of the most popularly known streamers in the community for a number of groups such as WWE, GCW, ORW, the RWA, OFL, and more. What can you tell us about yourself? How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. It's a really good pleasure to be with you today. Obviously, it's just been a lot of good stuff coming through where, especially that I'm getting more into with pro wrestling community and everything as a whole. It's really growing. The things that I've been wanting to do as a content creator for Ro Sports is really improving, and I'm helping make a spotlight into what everyone does. So it's been really good, man.
So about that streaming, you're doing it every single week, working with WWE. How did that sponsor or partnership come about, and what's your relationship with Teddy?
That actually came about from a couple of recommendations from the community. I was talking to a couple of people, a bit more on the secret side. You know, I was just being told the good things about certain federations, and I got a lot of good words from Roblox WWE. Back then, obviously, Luke Cena was the owner, and I had a really good relationship with him. Later on, I was told of a couple of people that worked on the production team as well, and these were people that worked with my former home, which was APRW, including a couple of those people being Sama, obviously, and we just worked on a really good relationship, and that's how it came to be. As for my relationship with Teddy, it's grown a lot. I mean, I didn't know the guy that too much. I just knew him as the guy that came through on one of the streams and went crazy on subscriptions for my community. And all of a sudden, we're just talking, and man, it's a really good bond that we're growing as well. I've seen what he does behind the scenes, and I'll tell you, man, I don't think no one else does it like him and Sama.
So about a month ago, you announced that you're gonna come home, and so far, you've been streaming every single show?
Yes, every single show I've been streaming since the return of Roblox WWE. We've streamed their latest 2 pay-per-views, and it's been great. It's been a lot of growth. We started off with only maybe 15 to 20 viewers. We've already grown to 30 to 60, depending on how big that show is and how hyped up it is. And then for pay-per-views, we've gone from 60 to 120. So it's really gone crazy right now and everything. We're really putting up a spotlight, and lots of people are enjoying it. That's the best part.
So I can imagine it could be a pretty grueling task, especially for WrestleMania, which is officially the highest viewed video in terms of a Raw wrestling event.
Yeah, it's very, very intense. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure to it, not just even for me as a content creator, but especially for the production team as a whole. The stuff we had to do behind the scenes, man, I'll tell you right now, it's crazy. And again, I'm gonna always give my credit to Teddy and Sama. They know what they're doing right now. They're doing crazy things. You saw the animations, you saw the pyro, you saw all the type of ways we've been kind of making things get built up for Roblox WWE as a whole. We want our people to really shine, and I feel like we really did that. And yeah, for streaming wise, it's a little nervous, you know, because you got lots of people coming through. We have pressure now that we're kind of being looked upon as a really big federation, and we keep bringing it up, we keep hyping it, we love it.
And you do commentary on these events for every single show. I know here at Roblania we do the same exact thing. Sometimes I even commentate shows all by myself, but this is on the indie side, you know, obviously less people, and usually it might be just pre-recorded, but you do this live for hours, and even WrestleMania 7.5 hours. So how do you approach commentary? Is there anyone that you took inspiration from?
Actually, you could say that inspiration does come from the actual shows of, you know, wrestling itself, the ones from TNA, WWE, etc. I really had a lot of eyes on more than likely the WWE ones though, and you know, it's really big inspirations. You got Jim Ross, you got Michael Cole, you got a lot of them that just really catch your eye on what you want to do when you're commentating. And you know, another thing is just really bringing something different, because Roblox wrestling is a bit obviously different compared to realistic or real wrestling, and you got to bring your own little bit of flavor to it. And that's basically what I did. I like the fact that it's different, it's unique, so I get to be different and unique. It's just a lot of fun. You're basically starting a trend, you and I both, for commentating on this type of stuff.
So of all the feds, you chose specifically WWE when they returned. What was your thought process heading into streaming every single week? How do you do that consistently? Hours on end, it can be quite a grueling task. So what motivates you to keep doing it?
I would say the interest in what I'm streaming. I've never had a moment where I was bored streaming for Roblox WWE, and that's me being brutally honest. I've never had a part where I was like, you know what, today I'm not really feeling it. I haven't felt that, and that's one thing for sure. You have to have in what you're streaming, what you're commentating, and what you're even putting effort on. I think everyone should keep that in mind, that you have to love what you do, and I love this. I really do.
On the other side, with the management at WWE, would you say that they also have the same motivation and passion for every single show that they put in?
Oh, for sure. The stuff that we do, even on main shows, is insane. And I definitely recommend people definitely show up to those. As you saw, like, one of the things that I really love about what they're doing behind the scenes is they're not just, working on like the segments or anything like that. They're also working on the characters that they have. They're upping their gimmicks. They're giving them obviously stuff that they need, whether it be Trons, whether it be, animations or anything. You're going to be looking great because we want you to look great. And they really emphasize that.
And you're also a part of another community, the football community. How were you always in it? How did you get into it? And why do you keep doing it?
I actually started off commentating in Row football. So, I started off in Row soccer first, but I really started streaming Row sporting events with Row football, seriously anyway. And it started off with a league called NCAAF. That league, when we started streaming for them, I was actually recommended to stream and commentate. I didn't actually take it seriously or nothing like that. And I mean, honestly, I didn't even know that much about the sport itself. And it grew over time. What they really loved was my passion when I commentated. I was actually reacting and showing serious emotion for the sport and every game. And from there, obviously, I just improved and I got educated on the sport. I got better at it. And it just went up from there. Viewers started to go up as well. I want to say I did start a bit of a trend. Streamers started coming up with Row football, and we've had a lot of viewers. And it helps me because I want to do that for Row Wrestling. I really want to help grow this community, and not just in the actual community itself, but also its fans, which is the viewers.
When you're going to streaming, how do you choose the feds that you want to stream? Have you gotten offers from other people? How many offers do you get? Because I'm sure you get a lot.
Yeah, we get a good amount. I do feel bad sometimes because I do get that along with other Row sports. As you know, we do cover a lot of different Row sports, so a lot of leagues and a lot of federations do hit us up. The way I go about it is I want to showcase the best that I can for these federations or leagues. So we try to go with the best ones, at least in my eyes, or at least the ones that are really going to show passion behind the scenes and show a lot of different entertainment. And that's basically how I go about it. Obviously, we don't have the time to be able to stream every single fed or league, so we really had to cut it down as much as I would love to do more.
And on the business side of streaming, your numbers have been gaining a lot of traction. How do you deal with that, and how do you brand yourself and make sure that the KiriCali channel stays on top?
The way I do that is really just promoting. I feel like what people don't realize, it's not just the effort being put in, it's also to work smart as well. And we really try to work on promotion. I'm trying to use a lot of my Twitter right now to really promote my stuff. We've actually just changed from only Twitch to YouTube now as well. And that's actually where I do most of my Row Wrestling content now. Just to avoid DMCA and stuff like that, I definitely recommend that if you ever do start streaming for Row Wrestling, and that's just to anybody, that you do go to YouTube. You do not want to get hit with the DMCA. It's not the best thing ever. They can take away your channel just like that. And as for YouTube, they'll give you some warnings. There's ways to go around it. You can just mute the audio if it causes problems. That's it. But yeah, honestly, the best thing for me is promotion. And also just really, yeah, that'd basically be it, really. It's just promotion and working hard.
Would you say you're in touch with the community?
I would say that now. I wouldn't have said that a couple of months ago. I feel like I was still new, but now that I've actually done main shows for a federation, and I'm also looking into other federations too, just as a spectator. And it's amazing. I can't wait. I'm actually going to be Row Wrestling soon as well, so I'm hoping it gives me even more of a bigger bond with the community. But I see what they do now, day in and day out, the good parts, the bad parts, all of that.
So we've talked about the good, but what would you want to consider heading a little bit more deeper? There's been a lot of discussion on the community in terms of its status of being alive. How would you respond to that? Because I know you had a very close relationship with Luke Cena himself.
I think the way he worded it definitely was not the best way to put it, but some people did take it that way, and that's why I want to say, I'll tell you as the first one if needed to, that Pro Wrestling is not dying. It's not dead. If anything, it's the opposite of that. It's really, really grown, and especially if you've been checking out the content that everyone's doing. Obviously, the Twitter community of Pro Wrestling is massive. We're still putting up trends the same way we did when the bigger federations that they're talking about were around, and it's just really, really crazy. I do want to add this on as well. I've been seeing a lot of viewers from my channel, and even after the streams, they'll comment on the videos. Hey, what's this game? How do I join this? Can I join this? And we get a lot of those type of people. Pro Wrestling has so much interest from the outside that I really don't think this will ever die. There's always going to be someone inspired by what we do.
If it won't die, how far do you see it going?
I could see it going for years, and I'm talking at least a decade, at least. So it really is going to keep on, rising the way it is, and there's reasons to that. I will say this though, honestly, I do see some problems with the community, stuff that can be changed, and with that, man, it's going to be way better than what it is right now, and it already is pretty good in my opinion.
What do you think could change?
Mainly it's on some federations. I think right now there's a couple of these things I want to talk about. One is obviously creativity and improvement on production. I feel like the biggest thing of Pro Wrestling right now is production. Nobody does it better in terms of Pro Sports for Pro Wrestling on the production side. Nobody. If you were to have a Pro football player or a Pro soccer player come see a federation do its thing, they're gonna be so shocked. Like they've never seen something like it. It's amazing. It's incredible, and that's something you gotta love. But again, that's why we need to really have that for every federation. You have to work hard on production. If it's not there, if creativity is not there, we lost.
Since you've seen most of WWE shows, what would you tell other Fed owners? What advice would you give them to be more creative?
To be more creative is the smaller things too, like advertising. Don't just show your match cards. You guys need to have some fun to it too. Have some advertisements. Do some fun stuff like that. Honestly, Teddy's been kind of setting up a trend with that. And also ORW too. You saw the Honcho Popeyes commercial. You saw the Geico commercial, the cricket commercials that people have been doing. That stuff's funny and people love it. It's stuff like that that you could do as well, along with obviously your match cards and your events that are going on. Another thing too is really again, in terms of creativity, you can only go so far to explain it. Just be different. Start up trends. Don't just follow them. You can on some occasions, but you have to also bring in your own flavor to things. That's the best way to put it. You see the difference between what ORW does and what WWE does and what SCW does, etc.
Yeah, and I feel you on that. UWI, which is one of my feds, has been doing the same exact thing. We do the live commercials on our live streams, the commentary. Everything's pretty well put together. And speaking on the note of media, what's your opinion on the growth of it? We've seen so many Twitter pages, we've seen a lot of followers, and we've also seen here on the Roblania network that there is a lot of media and it's very active. Where do you see the media going in the future?
Well, right now, I love what I'm seeing from the current media channels, but I would love it to see more, because the thing is, there's still only a small group of media or content creators for Pro Wrestling, and there needs to be a lot more. I encourage people to really, if you have the time and if you have the interest and you know what you're talking about, please become a media member, do stuff for the community, because it really does help out a lot, and people love it. People do stuff like that. Roblania, Roblox, wrestling media, all of that. That stuff is amazing for the community.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that people are able to do. I see a lot of growth happening, not just in terms of media, but I also do see it in like just production in general. I feel like we've gotten to the point where I feel like it's not a peak of development. It's just a steady growth as time passes. It just keeps getting better. What are some things in the community that you've just seen grow and you're, for lack of a better term, proud of?
Well, I'm definitely proud of the fact that the way that like the numbers, really, it's the numbers. You're seeing lots of people pull up to different federations, even without crazy promotion. People are just coming just because they're interested in obviously pro wrestling as a whole. So the numbers are just really rising right now, and you gotta love it. I mean, another thing too is it's hard to say. It really is just like the numbers, because everyone else is doing some stuff right. I did forget a couple of things honestly for production wise. Another thing I would say for Fed owners had to have been pacing. What I don't really like right now is that some federations are keeping that tradition of the 30-minute intermission or the 20-minute whatever is going on with that. They need to also kind of help out on pacing these times, and people do love that. Yeah, you could say some don't because say they're not ready for whatever reason, but that stuff really helps out not just the wrestlers and the fans, but it also helps out the content creators. Not many people have that same patience to wait that long as a spectator, and you lose viewers because of it. And I honestly think that's something that Roblox, WWE, or W, I think SEW too does really well. Is the book times are very fast. I definitely recommend that for a federation owner.
And speaking of pacing, on your own live streams, I've noticed that, like, man, these are some really high quality streams. This is stuff that I'm trying to learn, but that stuff is just really difficult to get nailed down. How did you do that with your streams? How did you get it to be so high quality? Like, did you look up any tutorials? Did anyone help you? Did you do it on your own?
Tutorials are your best friend, and there's still stuff that I haven't done yet that I know other people can do, and that's the best part about it. Definitely, if you have the time, look at tutorials, what you could do with your software that you're using to broadcast. Find the best parts of it. That's how I found how to do replays. That's how I found about transitions and other things of that nature. You have to look, you have to do your research because it really goes a long way. As for everything else, commentary, have obviously you got to have some inspirations, you got to have passion for it. Really, that's the best thing you could do is research. If you really do love what you do, you have to put in the work. You have to find better ways to improve yourself, and that's the best way.
With all the good that's been coming, I want to talk a little bit on the darker sides or the underlying tones that we've had recently. Of course, the community is dying is the type of thing, and I know you haven't been in the community for how long have you been in it? 2 years.
So it's only been a little bit, really, because even in those 2 years, we did take a little break since obviously uh, well, at first APRW had a hiatus, and then they finally finished off with APRW Mania. So during that time, we weren't really as involved, and even then, we only did pay-per-views. So yeah, I would say I wasn't really that into the community until maybe around when I started with Roblox WWE.
With all the talks about people having to be number one, first, do you see WWE as number one? And two, what do you think? Who do you think? You don't have to name any specific feds, but what do you think qualifies a federation? Because I know there's a lot of people on the network that want to hear, the suggestions. What are some things that people should take from WWE and apply to their own fed that's within a reasonable? Because I know that production is one of the top things, but in terms of hosting.
Oh yeah, I love this. So obviously, yeah, like you said, production is awesome. That stuff, again, it's all done differently. But for sure, like I said, the wait times, you see how quick, as good as these matches are, as good as the way that things are built up with the storylines and everything, it's also how fast they are able to quickly go on to the next match or how quick they're able to go on to the next segment. There's no delay. That is one thing I do recommend. Another thing is the communication and chemistry among the staff is extremely crucial to having yourself be a number one federation. If you don't have that, that's where you're lacking, and you need to have it. By that I mean more so, all right, who's doing this for when we're doing events? Like who's going to be doing the spotlights? Who's doing the themes, the Titantrons? Who's handling this, getting stuff ready for the next segment? Who's getting stuff ready for the next match? Who's contacting the wrestlers to come to the show and get ready to do their next match or event? And then or who's gonna be working for the title, etc. Um, but yeah, and also for sure is promotion. If you're not promoting your federation or your brand, that's where you've gone wrong. Some people don't promote correctly. It's only match cards, or if not, it's only, hey, we're live, and that's it. You gotta have more in terms of letting people know the dates, uh, some stuff even beforehand, reminders, or just in general, like have stuff ready for people to really get hyped up about your event. Some people really do it right, some people don't, and that's where you got to know what you need to develop on and what you don't.
So obviously, there's a lot of things that federation owners can improve. I agree on that too. I think there needs to be a lot of good pacing and effort. What I see nowadays, well, one of my main complaints is just towards the indies. I feel there's not much creativity. What is your take on individual pro wrestlers? One thing that I don't like is a lot of the same theme songs and the same, black hair gimmicks. And I watch a WWE show and I see a lot of different people. No one feels the same. But if you go to another Fed, specifically towards, because I attend a lot of indie Feds and I just see a lot of the same people. What advice would you give to pro wrestlers themselves to be more unique and creative?
Well, the best thing for sure is to not keep trying to use the same popular gimmick. There's going to be a lot of the same people, obviously, using something like an AJ Styles or like you know, um, a Reigns or something of that nature. And it's okay if you see no one else doing it. That's fine then, for sure. But yeah, it's definitely just switch it up. And also another thing I have seen too, I want to definitely add into that is a lot of people switch up gimmicks too quickly. I feel like you should only be switching if you really do not fit that gimmick. Fit something that's gonna match you. And that's something that, again, I do apologize for always bringing them up, but it's something I see the closest. So it's with WWE. I have seen them. The reason why you see so many different characters is because of the production team kind of encouraging that we do that. We try to make people be different, and with us kind of somewhat being in control of that, that's why you do see nobody being the same type of person or having the same theme song or any of that. So I do recommend indie shows be different if you have the control to it anyway.
For all the drama that usually happens in the community, I know there's been a lot of very, very serious topics. One being, pedophilia, bullying, the word, like toxic. What do you think we should do to stop that? What should the penalty be for these types of people?
It's a little bit different when it comes to the toxicity, but as for pedophilia, obviously, there's only a couple people that are really pushing, but the push for taking out pedophiles from this community is insanely needed. And there's only a couple people that I've seen that truly do push that effort into making it happen. Dylan Brown is one of the number one people that comes to mind. And I feel like people should really take consideration of what he says, because it is really needed. That this is a major problem. I will say this: I've seen other communities. There is always going to be pedophiles, especially at the fact you're dealing with the game with mixed age numbers, and obviously there's going to be these type of people. But again, it's as soon as they're caught, and even then, jokes of that stuff should obviously be taken serious because of the fact that this is a problem in this community. So I really do recommend that people don't joke around about that stuff. I've seen it on Twitter a couple of times. I'm watching, and I do gotta say, you guys need to chill with that. But and again, the punishment should be severe for people that have been caught up with grooming or pedophilia, because of the simple fact they're gonna be around these people every single time. You can't give these people second chances, for the simple fact they're always going to be around these people, and if they're attracted to them, you can't trust that. you can't have these younger people, they're innocent. They can't be put into a situation where they're having to communicate with someone that could end up trying to lurk on them. As for toxicity, though, I do want to add, you can't really do too much about that. The most you could do is, hey, if someone's being truly over the top, that you kind of put them in their place a little. Not too much, but, you, there's a time and place where you got to be serious, and where you could joke around. And some people are young. You got to remember too that some people are going to be young, so there's going to be some immaturity. It happens. um but yeah, I mean, really, it's just making sure that there's not anything like that at the right time and place.
So aside from the community, let's talk about yourself. One of the things that you did a very, very long time ago that I'm just skimming through your channel seeing when I was writing up the notes for this video was you did a lot of Pokemon stuff. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah. Before obviously Rose Sports, I was a content creator for Pokemon Brick Bronze, a game by Lando 6400 and a couple other people. I was actually very involved with that, and I really did enjoy it. If anything, I'm trying to do the same with Lumion Legacy, which is basically the same game, but they had to change it up because Pokemon did copyright them. Uh, so they had to shut down their game for a while. Now they're still working on this Lumion Legacy game, and soon I'll be making content for that. At my channel, I'm hoping it becomes more than just the casting of different real sporting events. I also want to do stuff for myself, and adding that onto both is honestly better to me than having a separate channel.
Do you have anything else planned in the works other than that?
For sure, I want to make sure that YouTube does become the home for real wrestling. I think there's so many good things about it. Obviously, even for federation owners, say a possible reach call or stuff of that nature, they can easily just rewind your stream because of the feature, and they found their answer, or they can have something to look back on. Another thing too is I really am going to be trying to push more for more content for real wrestling. I think clearly it needs to be more put out there. There's so much entertainment found in real wrestling, and I want to make sure that keeps on happening.
So what have you done to make sure that it grows?
Well, for one, again, it's showcasing at least one of the federations, and obviously Roblox WWE has been that federation. We do pay-per-views for ORW, and we're hoping to do some more for RWA. I'll give a little hint. We're going to be really trying to stream the next RWA event, which will be hosted, of course, once again by Tams, who I really am a fan of. I think he's going to do a great job again on the Champions Cup tournament. But yeah, we're going to be doing something for that. And another thing too is I am possibly thinking of having one of my own podcasts, which of course I'm definitely going to have you be interviewed because I like what you guys are doing as well here at Roblania.
On the topic of media, there's
Yeah.
a lot of things that we can do, but I think for one, having more channels on the community through YouTube is definitely one of the better approaches to expanding this community, because Twitter is great and all. Twitter is great, but I feel like the content that you put on YouTube is a lot different, both on Roblania and just on streams in general. Like, these two are very different things from just a simple Twitter post about recapping what happened. You get to see and you get to feel and you get more invested. As like a final thought, is there anything that you would want to put in for people to get invested? If you had to give a hook to someone who is maybe iffy about joining the community, what would be your hook to get them in? And one of the things that you're looking forward to doing is actually competing in the ring itself. What's the future plans for that, your in-ring career?
Well, my future plans are, of course, to definitely start off in somewhere in at least doing tag team matches. I want to kind of get a feel more of how to go about things. I had a great experience on my first match. I did lose, but the match that I had with DBK was awesome, man. I put in a couple of hours. I wanted to put in more. We got held up. We had to work a lot on obviously stuff behind the scenes with Mania, but when I did go through and I got into the gym, I was really working on different ways and just learning the feel of being a real wrestler. You have to know about the hit boxes and obviously the different tactics that go along. I really was shocked at how much there is put into pro wrestling and how, like, just watching it, you think, oh, I could beat somebody, right? Nah, man, it's a lot tougher than it looks, and that's the best part about it. It's competitive. The competition in pro wrestling has me intrigued, and that's why I can't wait, man. I'm gonna start off doing tag team matches. I don't know who specifically will be my partner. It will be decided later in the future, but for now, that is what I'm thinking. Then eventually go on to doing stuff by myself and working my way by myself into a championship picture.
And media is helping people get more and more invested into pro wrestling by the day. And I think you and me collectively are both responsible for this. And I know there's going to be a lot more people, and there are more people who have been doing this. But for the people that are iffy about this, for the people that see the videos and are part of Roblox community, and they also are part of the wrestling community, but they're very iffy on it because they've heard about the bad things, they've heard about the things that aren't great, and maybe they're watching this and they're saying, you know what, maybe this is really cool. What would be your final hook to get them in? For other people that also just want to listen to this and maybe get their friends into it too, what would you say to get someone in?
Well, to get someone in, I'll definitely tell them this. There's nothing better than having a C pop, everybody cheering for you. You have your theme song blasting, and you see your Tron being played right behind you, and you're just ready to go for your match. And let alone when you're in the match, the intensity. Sometimes people feel nerves. Sometimes people just feel like, let's go, it's go time. And winning or losing that match, you don't feel the same emotion in something else. So I definitely would give them that hook. You will never have a better feeling than when you, for one, enter the ring, and two, fight in the ring.
KiriCali, thank you for coming on the network. This means a lot for us, and this means a lot for media in general. I feel like this crossover does wonders for everything. There's going to be a lot of growth heading into the future, and I think this definitely will help the channel, along with helping other people get more invested. Is there any final comments you would like to add?
Yeah, man, I would definitely like to say you guys are doing a great job, and shout out to all the media content that you guys have put up, that the other media groups have put up. And I hope that after this segment, we see more streamers, more content creators in general, and obviously more change into the community. That's good and not bad. And I hope people now realize we are beyond, gonna die anytime soon. We are gonna be rising to the top. Pro wrestling will be at its peak, and it'll keep on growing.
Anyways, this has been Roblania Studios. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, Steiner Section coming out every single weekend. I really appreciate you being here and giving all your thoughts and advice. I think this can do a lot for media. And I think for you, the viewer, you can do a lot to support us too. Not only can you check out KiriCali in the description of the video, you can also support him with his live streams every single week. And not only that, every single week we have the Steiner Section coming out every single weekend where we recap the news. And hey, we're helping support the community. And you can do that too. Like, comment, subscribe, and have a brilliant day.